putting the spotlight on local businesses in the capital city. This is 402 Business Insider with Travis Filing and Gary Tharnish on 1499.3 KLIN.
And you're listening to the 402 Business Insider. I'm Travis Filing with Transformation Marketing. With me, as always, Gary Tharnish from Home Design Real Estate. How you doing today?
I am doing great. I'm good. I'm really good. Good. Yep, 64th year, and I'll tell you, I'm just taking them easier every year. Things don't stress me out. It's kind of like my mind has this automatic spam file and junk file where crap goes, so I'm doing good.
That file is getting full, though.
Yeah,
very full.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I have to delete the cache.
And our guest today is a guy named Gary Tharnish.
Oh, good, that turd.
I know. Well, we had to interview him sooner or later. This is something you and I have talked about a handful of times, going, you know what? We should interview each other just so people get a better feel for us, because we're business people too.
Sure, yeah. We talk about our years of experience, but we don't really talk about what was that. How did I get to where I am? What were the good, the bad, and the ugly? So I'll share a lot of ugly.
Okay,
it'll help people not have to do it, hopefully.
and if this thing goes up in flames, then I'll never do mine.
Okay,
so we'll be good.
Yes, you will, man. I've been digging up dirt on you for months now. You can't say
that's not very. It doesn't take very long to do that. That's really easy. Well, today this first segment is sponsored by Sartor Heyman Jewelers and Red Rhino Roofing. Love those guys. Sartor Heyman. They're getting ready to have a big event, and I'm pretty excited about it. Should be really interesting, but love those guys. They've been doing stuff for us for ever.
Yeah, you teased about that a little bit, and I'm like dying to know what it is. When I had the flower shop, we did they were out at Gateway.
Yeah,
they had a second place out at Gateway, and before they had South Point, well, it was before South Point was there, and we did a lot of business there. We always did their windows that they had out there and worked with them a lot. Great people.
Just super people,
down to earth.
Yeah And you just gotta love working with local people.
Yeah,
it's so important.
I bought a very beautiful, well-designed ruby ring for a 5th anniversary. Just gorgeous. Paid a ton for it. It was wonderful. And it's on the North Shore of Hawaii now, somewhere down in the water.
Oh, so, there we go. So we need to get some scuba.
By no fault to Sartor Heyman. It was just like really, really bad. We thought the little flags on the beach were like, hey, this is like Flag Day or something. Instead, it was like, don't enter the water. You will drown and die.
Yeah, or lose your ruby ring.
Yes, it sucked pretty much everything off of our bodies that was not attached. So we'll leave that there.
Okay. Well, let's kick it off with a little business lesson in the news, shall we?
Yeah, I always love this segment.
I do too. And there's so many interesting things that are going on right now and all the time. Every time you flip on and you go to whatever your news source is, there's a business lesson in that. And
every day.
It's been fun because now I'm looking at news differently, because I'm like Hawkeyeing looking for those business lessons, and now the news is totally different for me, and I love it because it's made me focus on business as opposed to what kind of crap is going on in the world. Don't care. What can I learn from this and apply to my business, and our listeners apply to their business.
Right,
so
exactly.
I love
the logo stuff's been interesting. And I was really surprised to see you kind of like this one. Then I'm like, this is a piece of crap. And then it's like, it's all perspective, and there's always different sides. And that's one thing I like about talking with other people about business.
Yeah.
Because especially when you're a sole proprietor, it's easy to get into your own little world and not really associate that much of what's going on around you. I love it.
In all the years that we've been, because we've owned the agency 25 years now, 24 years now.
Time has flown.
Can you believe that?
No.
And in all those years, we pick up a client, and sometimes they will have an idea. It's like they don't know anything about marketing. Then as soon as they hire you, they want to interject all their ideas and opinions. And it's like, no. And we've walked away from clients to go, this is a terrible idea. Yeah. And we won't do it, because sooner or later somebody goes, hey, who does your marketing? Transformation Marketing. Okay, mental note, never hire that company because it's a turd. We will not put a bad piece of marketing out there. Yeah. If we don't think it's going to work, we ain't doing it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But our news story, I saw this and I sent it to you. It was a Gallup report, and it was about work-life balance. And it was, I'm glad you're laughing, because we haven't talked about this yet.
No.
I swear if I hear one more person say you have to have work-life balance, I'm going to slap them.
So how is your work-life balance?
No such thing.
I'm going to run out of here before he slaps me.
No
Just
such
kidding.
thing.
Yeah.
I see it. It's like nails on a chalkboard to me. I've become craptose intolerant. I'm so sick of this crap. There's no such thing as work-life balance. If you want to be an entrepreneur, especially, you're going to have a work balance.
Yeah.
And you have to fit life in as you can. That doesn't mean you don't have to enjoy your family time and have some downtime. We work a lot, but is it balanced? No, it's not possible.
See, I remember in the 80s, 90s, every business conference you went to and everything, they always talked about, and the big push was, and all the books were written about, if you're not a good communicator, you need to become a much better communicator. So here's stuff you can do and do these things and do that. If you can't comprehend what you're reading, study really hard so you can comprehend what you're reading better. If you're not creative, read these books on getting creative and become more creative. Look to today. Now today, they've finally realized after a lot of psychological research that it's like, just get better at what you do well. Right. We're all given different gifts. So I would get rid of the word balance and maybe change it with moment, mindset, skill set. So for me, I don't know that I ever really, according to what this Gallup research would be, or whatever the word work-life balance, I don't know that I ever had that, but I did get a lot better at being present in the moment where I was.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a lot of it. Maybe long day at work, sole proprietor, had to stay late, get a lot of work done because we'll get into when we talk about what I did for a living, but it's a lot of manufacturing a product personally. So It took time. I got a lot better over the years at when I was home, being home and not thinking of the 12,000 things that have to be done the next day at work, or what isn't done, or what I'm going to do in the future. But I was there with the wife and the kids, and we were enjoying the evening, and I spent my time there. That's carried me through to today, where I suppose you could say it's work-life balance, but not really. I'm still like work, and then some balance, work, and then some home time. I mean, it's all, or home goes with you. But I've got to go show a home,
I love the live in the moment, because if you're at work and you're thinking about being at home and trying to figure out balance, that means you're not working.
Right. Or you're going to get in trouble because you're not home early or whatever. Yeah, exactly.
And if you're at home thinking about work, same goes. I love that. Live in the moment. That's very shrewd.
And is there really balance if you're at your son's football game, but you're really not paying attention to any of it because all you're thinking about is, I left this stuff at work, I did this, I didn't do that. I think the key is to prep yourself so that you can be in the moment. Like I said, what worked for me is I would just brain dump before I went home. I'd be like, if I don't write all this stuff down and just make like a possible to-do list, and some of the stuff wasn't even a to-do list, it was just like just getting it off of my brain, leave it on my desk, I could walk away and I was done. It took me years to be able to do that, but that's when I had better communication with everybody involved.
Yeah, I remember I think it was like in 2000, 2001 or something, Shannon and I, this was before we had kids, had just newlyweds, we had gone to Hawaii, and I went around and I videoed everything I could possibly, whatever I could point the camera at, I was filming it. And I missed the vacation because just like this conversation, my focus was elsewhere. My focus was showing, making sure I get this video to prove to the world that I've been to Hawaii. Who cares?
Same thing about concerts. I've actually had artists in concerts that will say, put your phones away. Just enjoy the concert. You don't have to record it. I mean, it's on YouTube in 5 different
five different languages, higher definition.
Just enjoy the concert. And there's a lot to be said for that. It's like you're videoing, and you're just missing what's happening in that moment. So it really does become that more than anything.
Yeah, I love that. That's the whole time I was putting this together, I was my blood was boiling with the whole balance thing. And I didn't stop to go just live in the moment.
So listeners will love that. One thing I love about you, Travis, is that you're lenient on me. So before we started this segment, he's like, I sent you the report. Did you read it? I'm like, yeah, no, I didn't read it.
Every word.
Yep. I get in trouble at work too. They're like, did you read the document? The whole thing? I go, I do now. But it was like, oops, but I worked for Gallup for a while, so I know I was trying to pay off some debt, so I just worked extra for them. Loved the job. Actually, wanted to hire me at their corporate office, but I never did get my degree. And you just have to have a degree. It doesn't matter if it's an underwater basket weaving, but you just have to have a degree. Anyway, when I worked for Gallup, I really liked it. It was pretty interesting. I liked the way Gallup ask their questions. They're very strategic in the wording so that it's not like taking one side or another. That I really like. So I am interested a little about it. What'd they say? Like, there is no work-life balance in America, or most people fail, or
well, some of the things, like they said 41% of employees globally report experiencing daily stress. And I'm like, 41%.
That's all.
Right. That's what I said. Because if this number came out and you said 92%, and I'm like, who are these 8%? No, who are these 59% of people who don't experience stress on a daily basis?
I don't know.
I mean, to some degree, I don't roll out of bed at a 10 on the stress level, but there are moments in time during the day where I will hit a 10.
Although, I've seen, being in the event business for years, there were times where I would go into how do I want to, without getting anybody in trouble, I could see employees, especially union employees, who are like, this is my job, not my job. And right. And so it's like pretty stress-free. It's like, oh, you need the podium on the stage, move 4 feet. Frank can do that. He's at lunch. So everything stops till Frank comes back.
Yeah.
First time I didn't know that, and I moved the podium, you would have thought that I killed Jesus in the theater. Like, I killed Jesus. It was known to me. You do not do that. Now, on my angle, I was in a time frame. So it's like, I've got to get this done really, really quick.
Right.
Or, there's going to be, because the event was going to start. And I couldn't, and I'm like, that kind of in a way be a stress-free job. These guys were all like, just relax. I'm like, oh, we're just hanging out till he gets back and move the podium. I'm sitting there going, time frame, like this person that bought all this stuff's going to come through the door in 20 minutes and I'm not done. So anyway, I don't know. So I suppose there should be some jobs that are non-stressful, but overall, I don't buy that. I'll also say, when you ask questions on Gallup, when having worked there, when you ask questions of people, there were times that you could tell right away. Well, people would be like, can you ask that question again? And you would ask it and they'd go, I'm not sure how to answer that. How should I? It's like, well, what's your, I think sometimes people are just, no stress when they're not.
Yeah.
Right. I don't buy that.
Possible way. I don't buy it either.
I don't buy that. What are some other fun ones? Oh, we'll probably run out of time. But.
Yeah, we got about 30 seconds here. Let me see if I can pick. Does striving for business ultimately create a lose-lose situation? That was one of the questions, and I thought, or one of the points that they made, and I thought, yeah, I think it is a lose-lose. If you are trying to get this perfect equilibrium of work and life, and you know what, it's not possible, and you're chasing after something that you're never going to find.
Well, there's too many variables in life in general. There's too many variables.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm bald and I have this one damn hair on my head today. I couldn't find it cut off, but everybody else saw it. Yeah, I'm like, there's variables every day
for that hair head balance.
The worst thing about not having hair is when it's a hassle. It's like, really, stop.
My brother, his hairline started receding, and he goes, you know what, scrap it, I'm shaving it. And he shaves his head,
and
he's like,
happy camper.
He goes, don't even worry about it.
Yeah, I love it.
How the heck did we get down this road?
I don't know, but anyway,
but it's a
good
perfect
time for a
break. Yes, it is. You're listening to the 402 Business Insider. Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish. We'll be back right after this.
To Business Insider on 1499.3 KLIN.
And we're back on the 402 Business Insider. Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish, talking about Gary Tharnish today, interviewing Gary, longtime business owner. And this segment is sponsored by Western National Bank. I just absolutely love those guys. Regular guys, T-shirts, jeans, They're going to give it to you straight. Start a relationship with a banker. That is something most business owners and young entrepreneurs don't know to do.
And another quick plug on that. We had Todd Calfee on last week.
It was a while ago.
It was a week before. Listen to that podcast if you can. For those of you listening, 402 Business Insider does have a podcast. You can find us on YouTube. Go back and listen to that one from Todd. His description of the 10 points of culture in his business when he had the marketing agency prior is worth, it's gold.
Yeah, I think it was the end of August. So if you go through, go look, find the end of August, find Todd Calfee.
Yeah.
It was an excellent interview. He had some really good insights. The other sponsors for this segment are Mendoza Family Insurance, which is pretty interesting because I'm going to have a chit chat with them because we're getting ready we have to re-roof a couple of our houses. And there's that new metal. I was talking with Steve at Red Rhino Roofing. And they have that new metal, they call it a stone coat, and it looks like regular shingles.
Yep.
And it's about double the cost. But then what's that do to my insurance? Because it's a 50-year shingle. I'm giving finger quotes for the shingle thing, but I'll be real curious to see what Greg over at Mendoza says
we'll
about
have them
that.
on the air sometime, right?
Yes.
So I have yet to meet
absolutely.
them. I'm excited to meet them, but I've been hearing both, in the real estate business, obviously, we're dealing with insurance all the time and roofs have become a big deal. I'm really getting from a lot of insurance companies, it's no big deal. Like you have that versus a class 4 in composite shingle, not any big difference in savings.
Really?
Other companies will say, there can be a difference in savings. It's very interesting to me. And it's going to be interesting to see how it pans out.
Yeah, because Steve was telling me it was a 50-year warranty, and it covers up to softball-sized hail. And I thought, man, if it's bigger than a softball, that's bowling balls are coming through. You're toast.
Right.
So, boy. It's tough.
Find that out ahead of time because that would be and I'd love to know the result of that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. We're getting ready to roof 3 houses right now. So
Joy.
Good old Steve.
Yippee skippy.
He's got a lot of work to do in front of us. So.
Yeah, they're busy right now.
So let's get into the thing that intrigues me the most about something that you've done that I aspire to do is selling a business. Now, I've bought businesses. I have yet to sell a business. And I know you've sold your business. You had Burton Terrells for 36 years.
Yeah, I had Burton's originally and then bought Terrells in 2001. So yeah, it was 36 years.
So let's talk about buying a business because buying a business is it can be tough.
Well, my journey into that's kind of interesting. So when I was 17, I mean, I didn't, in 5th grade, romper room on TV. And what do you want to be when you grow up? I'm like a fireman. I didn't want to be a florist. Are you kidding me? But when I was 17, my best friend's mom bought a flower shop. She needed somebody just to deliver after high school and take care of plants. I always loved plants. We're good with plants, farming, gardening, that kind of thing.
Is there a college joke in there? Doing horticulture and
let's keep going. And so, yes, I pulled weeds sometimes for bad reasons or good reasons, depending on your perspective. But anyway, so started working there and got into college. In college, I was a music major, worked at Westbrook for a while, and I really wanted to do that, especially performance, but I wanted to play in an orchestra, percussion in an orchestra. So of course you're going to have, Chicago Symphony, you're going to have, 5,000 people try out for one spot if you can even get in there.
Right.
So anyway, I just kind of I'm not sure I want to do that. Switched to business. During college, I started as an assistant manager at Terrells on North Cotner, which is the largest shop in Lincoln for decades, a century, basically. And loved that. Got out of college and I was like, I can only go so far here working for someone else in this industry. So when I was 23, I was like, you know what, I want to buy. And of course I had very little money, if any. So I put together a business plan. I knew I wanted to buy an existing business simply because to start at that time, which was the early 80s, to start a business like a flower shop like that, because it takes a lot of trust for people to say, here's $50, send Shannon flowers that look nice.
Right.
And you don't know me, right? So I wanted to buy an existing business that had, some income going in. So I put together a business plan, started going to banks to get a loan. 8 no's. 8 rejections.
Yeah.
It was like, holy crap. And then I went into one bank where they're like, we'll give you a 5-year loan. It's going to have a 3-year balloon if you're not performing. We'll give you a 5-year loan. This is what we want to see every quarter, constantly. Okay, great. So they put their trust in me. I bought Burton's Flowers, a shop that was on 56 and Highway 2, the Edgewood Center.
Just one shop. Was it one single location?
One single location. Yep. Bought that existing business. So that was really good. And that kind of took off from there. That's pretty much how it worked. I was able to pay that loan off in less than 3 years, which was good. So that's basically how it started. I was like, I don't want to work for someone else.
So you just rolled in now. And as far as experience, you never owned, did you take business courses? Were you?
Yeah, I took business courses in school. I realized I hated accounting. Like sucks, it's like a dementor sucking the soul out of me. I think I've mentioned that before. And then now I'm in a really creative business. So that kind of has its own special challenges, right? Like when we're talking to Erica from the chocolatier.
Oh, chocolate season, yeah.
You know, owning a flower shop, you're not really a retail store. You get that all the time. Accountants have a big difficulty with it until they kind of wrap their mind around it. But you know, if I'm selling widgets, I open the store to sell widgets. I'm selling parts for HVAC, right? So I open up the store, I have certain parts I carry because they need them all the time, or I order it, it comes in, you get it, so on and so forth. You own a flower shop, you buy all this product individually, and then somebody manufactures it every day to send it out. So it's a whole different world. So I kind of grasped that part. I knew how to do that, but the bookkeeping part of it was a whole nother world. So lots of lessons learned. My biggest surprise when I opened the business, I'm like, this is really different than just working here.
Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff. I mean, I've been sent to HR so many times and talked to myself in the hallway, you know, amongst many other things. But
what's interesting about that business is, just like you said, I'm not buying a part, I'm not buying a car, I'm kind of buying art, so to speak.
Correct.
I mean, no two are going to look the same,
right?
And it's very similar in that, like when I buy flowers, I'm buying a reaction. Okay. It's either I'm sorry I screwed up, or a happy anniversary, or I'm just thinking about you. Whatever the message is, I'm buying a reaction.
Correct.
Because why do you have them sent to your wife's work? It's part of it's her reaction, but you're also kind of creating that jealousy within the office place. Like, oh my gosh, did you see what Travis sent Shannon? And So, and did you ever have people, I imagine, go, this looks terrible?
Oh yeah. Here's my favorite story.
Oh, tell me.
So I was maybe 4 or 5 years into the business, sent an arrangement to this lady. Her son called and ordered flowers, you know, she likes all kind of flowers, no big deal. So send this flower arrangement. She calls, I answer the phone. The recipient calls, I answer the phone, and she goes, yes, I received the ugliest thing today. I can't even believe just boiling. She says, I want to talk to the manager. And so she's got me. I'm the owner, right? And the manager was my sister, you know, and she was out on delivery. I go, I'm sorry, she's out on delivery. And she goes, you send the manager on delivery? I go, yeah. And she goes, well, then I want to talk to somebody in charge. I go, well, I'm the owner. With that, she goes, well, you should have said that right away. I don't know what you were thinking, trying to ruin my day. I mean, I kind of wanted to go, yeah, I have no idea who you are, but I went in the cooler and went, I don't want to ruin this lady's
I want to ruin Susan's
that's my
afternoon.
business. Anyway, so I'm like, ma'am, listen, we have an unconditional guarantee. I'll make something else. Why would I want something else from your shop? I mean, just like bad day, you know? So I always knew when a customer calls and they're upset, just let them go until they're done. So I would say, is there anything else you need me to know? Well, if you would like to know, I thought your delivery door, he pounded on my door 3 different times. And she says, well, I wasn't dressed when he got here. Then I'm like, okay, well, you know, I'm so sorry about that. You know, I guess I'll try to tell him to only like knock once and then leave a note on the door. Well, that would have been, I'm like, whatever, lady.
Yeah.
So finally she's like, well, I'm just going to come in. I'm going to have to see your store. I just can't believe it. I usually use so-and-so flower shop. It's okay. Yeah, whatever. So she comes in and I'm like, look, your son can have the money back. You can pick out whatever it'll take to make you happy. You know, well, I go, you know what? How about if we go in the cooler? You pick out flowers. I'll make an arrangement. You can stand right beside me. You can tell me, put it in a different place or whatever. You can just run the whole thing. Well, you should be able to know how to do that. Yeah, but you know, I failed horribly. So, you know, why don't you help me out? Meanwhile, her arrangement's sitting on the front counter. The one she brought back that was so damn ugly. So one of my employees, high school employee who gets off work, like when your wife worked for me, comes in the back room and goes, hey, there's a guy out front that wants to buy this. He loves it, wants it for his wife. How much is it? I look over and I go, you know what? Tell him today he can just have it for free. It's just and then I don't have punch cards, but have him come back 9 times in the next 3 or 4 years and we'll call it even. She was just, I can't believe somebody would like that. It's all in the eyes of the beholder, you know, right? I never sent an arrangement to a colorblind person that complained.
You know what I loved about going into your shop was, and this is something as a consumer, I'm coming to you for expertise. Now, granted, we're friends, and you know my wife, and it makes it very, very easy.
Oh, yeah.
But how many times did I walk into your shop and tell you exactly what I wanted?
Never.
Right? Never. I would
Yeah.
walk in and I would go, hey, I put my foot in it about $150 worth or whatever the number was. Or I'd go, hey, anniversary is coming. Can you give me just give me an arrangement? And I would stand there and we would just chit chat, and you would just kind of wander around the store and grabbing some stuff and start putting things together. And I never said, hey, can we do this or can we do that or nothing. I'm buying your expertise, and you don't get into the floral business and stick around for 36 years without maybe knowing how to put one of these arrangements together.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean we don't put a bad one together once in a while. I'm sure it happened, or one of your employees did, but yeah, it was just so easy. And I'm bummed that you're out of business because I don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
Where I can just go in and go, yeah,
I get
$100.
Yeah.
You know, and I walk out the door and know I'm gonna win.
Yeah.
So
that's a huge thing.
Very cool.
So let's go real quick. I think originally, I don't know if you asked the question, but maybe when you were off the air, we asked the question, and that was now go full circle 36 years later when you go to sell the business, right?
Mm-hmm. Well,
so how do I?
Let's hold that thought because we're coming up on a hard break here. So you're listening to the 402 Business Insider, Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish. We're going to talk about selling a business right after the break.
$1,999.3 KLIN.
And we're back on the 402 Business Insider. Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish. We are talking Burton Terrell's Flowers right now, and we have our 5 takeaways. Well, this segment is brought to us by Complete Family Dermatology. Those guys are so fantastic.
Yeah, definitely.
Go in, see them. Especially, they do more than skin cancer, but skin cancer is kind of their big. If you see something in the mirror, you see something on your body that looks different. I had a little mole, kind of a thing, you know, and it was flat. And then all of a sudden it started getting a little darker. And then it kind of had like a clear looking thing in the middle. It just looked off. I'm like, oh, this is changing. This isn't good.
Right.
I went in, showed them, and they're like, nothing to worry about. Right.
Yeah.
I was convinced it was something bad.
Well, and it's important to do that. It's the change that makes the difference, right? When you
Exactly.
see a change, you need to do that.
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends who are kind of like on a watch, you know, well, yeah, this has changed a little. Let's just keep our eyes on it. It could morph into something you don't want.
Right.
But it's important.
Which was basically what they told me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll have to go back here in a couple of months and have them take a look again if it keeps changing. But yeah, great guys. The UPS store. Love the UPS store. They do our business cards. They do printing. They do signs. They do fat heads. They do
Amazon returns.
shredding,
Just had
Amazon
return
returns.
there
They
the
do
other day.
shipping, all that fun stuff. So go check them out. And the Cabot, a virtual indoor golf. I told Shannon, I said, if there is one sponsorship left, come this fall, I'm going to buy it for our indoor golf facility. And if you are a golfer, this is a simulator. And I know what you're thinking. Simulators suck. And golf simulators do suck, except for this one. This is, nobody is installing these. I think there's only 2 in the entire state of Nebraska.
Oh, geez.
And because of the expense, it's a 6-figure just for the software and the computer. It's over 6 figures.
Wow.
When you're golfing, has an auto tee, so you don't have to chase golf balls around. If you hit, there's 275 golf courses. And if you hit a ball and say the ball rolls downhill and the ball would be below your feet, the floor will actually tilt 15 degrees forward, backward, left, right. So if the ball's below your feet, guess what? The ball's below your feet. It's a golf simulator like you've never seen before.
Okay, I have to come down and visit because I'm not really a golfer.
That's okay.
Surprise, surprise. I did golf in a tournament once. and I won.
Oh,
the Duffers Award.
Okay.
144 people, I believe. I came in last. The trophy literally had the golf club the wrong way. It was great. Anyway, I was proud of it. But
here's what's crazy about this is it's members only, right? So I'm keeping it small.
Okay.
You know, so we have 17 members right now. We're probably going to bring it up to maybe 20, 25, and that's it.
So you buy a membership.
You can bring guests. There's no extra charge.
Nice.
You schedule it yourself online, and you have an app on your phone that unlocks the door.
Okay.
And we have a liquor license, so we have liquor lockers, so you can bring your own booze, lock it up, and everything is there.
When you arrive.
Yeah. So it's like the ultimate man cave. I mean, I got a pool table. We have a putting green. I have a chipping. I have a sand trap. It's all inside.
Nice.
It's unbelievable.
I've got to come visit for sure.
We'll have to couple of weeks. We'll get together.
So I get a membership, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I go. Is it when you say schedule? It's my private time when I'm there.
Yep. It's yours.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
That's
if
really
you go
nice.
online and you schedule it from noon to 4, nobody else can book it. It's yours.
Nice.
You go in and there are no employees. So like if you're a salesperson, you can have private conversations because it's your private man cave.
Yeah.
It's your private club.
Would have been great with a rainy weekend. It'd be perfect.
Oh, absolutely perfect. Yeah. Check it out. Thecabin.golf. You will love it. Give me a call. I'll take you golfing. Seriously.
So
anybody listening, if you want to golf, you want to come down, you want to check it out and go, I don't believe Travis because simulators suck. Call me. I'll take you. We'll play 18 holes. We'll have a blast.
So it's thecabin.golf.com.
Nope. Just thecabin.golf. The whole .com thing. I know you and we're getting old. Everything used to have a .com. Not anymore. Just has to have a dot. So thecabin.golf. Press enter.
Nice.
You'll find us. It's awesome. 5 takeaways now. 5 takeaways is sponsored by Nebraska Farmers Network. Absolutely love these guys. They're doing such cool work. We'll talk about them a little bit here at the end of the segment, but we're going to do 6 takeaways because we were just talking before the break about selling a business. So let's talk a little about selling a business. You're thinking about selling your business.
Yeah. So, and then I'm also real quickly going to say, we want to talk about when I merged, because that's a really big thing too, that I would never want somebody to go through what I went through. Anyway, so when it comes time to sell, so I wanted to sell my business many times actually, just because I always loved real estate, which I'm in now. It kind of sounds weird. People are like, why did you sell and go into real estate? And I was like, I always wanted to, but it was always like, next year is David's wedding, and I told his mom I would do it, or your daughter's wedding. I said I would do it.
Right.
There was always some reason not to. It just kind of kept morphing into what it was. Also, I think in life, when you do something, you're doing it well and you love it and you're passionate about it, why change it? So that was kind of a lot of it. So I first looked at the possibility of selling my business like 5 years before COVID. It was like 2015, and had North Coast Business come in and kind of get all the paperwork and do evaluation of it and everything. One interesting thing about selling a flower shop, for example, like you were saying, is that I'm an artist there. I won a lot of rewards and had a lot of accreditation that was artistic. So suddenly I'm not the owner. Who's the new person? And the same personality can do the same thing. If you walk in and say, here's $150, it's Shannon and I's anniversary, they don't know you. That kind of plays a lot into it. Plus, I didn't have a brick and mortar. I hadn't owned a building. So really, I sold the assets and inventory that I had, and then all the customer list, and basically blue sky is basically what I sold.
Yeah.
So in my situation, you're going to get less than you probably would if you owned a building, or you owned somebody that sold widgets or something where you just order, place it, and it goes. So I would say anybody thinking about buying a business, if you're buying that type of business, know that going into it, so you know what your investment is and what you need to get out of it in the end. I had a great relationship with all the flower shops in Lincoln and Nebraska. I was on the board of the Nebraska Florist Society for 36 years as past president, secretary, treasurer, you name it. So I knew a lot. I knew all the florists in town and got along with them great. So I knew there were a couple shops interested in buying my shop. So it was pretty easy that way. It was just contacted them and saying, hey, I know. I sold during COVID, by the way.
Yeah.
I sold the week that the mayor shut everything down for just 2 weeks. at first.
Right.
I had really
which 2 weeks were those?
Yeah, I had really niched into, still did everyday orders, birthdays, anniversaries, funerals, that kind of thing. But really worked into a corporate world. So I did a ton of events besides weddings. I mean, I did a lot of corporate work. So a lot of stuff with the university, Wesleyan, Doane, all of your big companies, Assurity, Emeritus, Lincoln Industries, Duncan, so on and so forth. So I did a ton of event business, all gone. And the thing was, they weren't calling up going, hey, there's nothing going on the next 2 weeks. The university called and said, the gal I worked with from the chancellor's office, which everything kind of flowed through to all the other different, colleges on campus, said, hey, it just came down from the chancellor, from Ronnie, that we're just, all events are canceled for the rest of the year. So we're 1st of March, right? So you're looking at that. So basically sat down, went 74% of my business just went out the window, right? Whoa. My favorite call was the insurance company that called 4 weeks later and said, hey, we're just calling all of our businesses. We know it's a tough time, and honestly, we really want you to know if there's anything we can do to help you during the time, please let us know. And I let her do the whole spiel. I could tell she was reading it. She got all done and go, there is something you could help with. And she's like, what's that? And I go, so we literally, I can show you on paper, lost 74% of our business overnight. And it's not going to come back till maybe the end of this year. So if you could lower my premium for the next 9 months, 74%, that would be great. 70%, 60%.
I like that.
Well, we can't do that.
No.
We can't. And I go, well, then exactly what kind of help do you want to do? Like, I don't need any more cookies. I'm eating my stress away at that point, right? There's talk about work life. I'm not gonna say the word because you'll stab me. I got a marker. I was like, that's all out the window. But anyway, so there's things to think about that when you're selling a business. I have a friend right now considering selling their business, and they're going to take a couple years to do things a little bit different. Like maybe sometimes they get paid in cash and they don't record it. And maybe sometimes they take trips and it's kind of business, about totally business, and they write up. So they're going to go, okay, let's just make this look more realistic,
right?
Because right, I mean, a lot of us run our business to the best tax advantage, practices possible, right? Those aren't always really good when you go to sell, right? Yeah. Because that can't. I think Tim was talking about that when he was here a few weeks ago. So it's an important thing. If you are thinking of selling your business, the worst, actually, you might think I did it at the worst time, but I'd been planning it for 4 or 5 years, but is when there is a disaster or something goes really bad. And I'm just going to get out of this business. I can't, that can be the worst time. You really want to plan to sell.
Yeah. That's usually the best time to buy a business, worst time to sell a business.
Right.
But if you have it in the works, then you're usually going to be in pretty decent shape.
And to relate this to real estate, I get this call a lot. When's the best time for us to buy a house? Okay, well, you're going to sell a house, right? You want to sell your house to buy a house? Yeah. But when's the best time to buy?
Yeah, 1986.
The best time to buy is when it's the worst time to sell. What do you mean? Well, think about it.
Yeah.
Winter's a great time to buy.
Right.
In here, because people don't really want to move in the wintertime. Usually somebody is selling because they're moving to Austin, Texas or wherever, right? They got to move for a job or school or whatever. But then if you're selling, and why is it good to buy in Nebraska in the wintertime? Because not a lot of people are moving. So you have less competition. If you're going to buy, there's not going to be 5 offers or 3 offers or 2. But if you're selling, okay, it's just the opposite, right? There aren't going to be a lot of people looking at your home.
Yeah. And
in December,
it balances each other out. When it's a horrible time to buy, it's a great time to sell.
Yeah.
And
so I'm like, the best time's when you're ready.
Yeah. Yeah. When you're ready, it's always, and it's honestly, never too early. It really isn't. It's never too early. So in business, especially floral business and any business for that matter, relationships are big.
Yes.
They are absolutely huge. So let's talk a little bit about why relationships are so important to build, especially in your industry.
Well, let's talk about what you just said, right? So you could come in and you'd say, hey, Gary, made $100 mistake. I had built enough of a relationship with you that I knew what that meant, as opposed to, are you sure it wasn't a $250 or is it just a $25 thing, right? Because we had a relationship built. So you have to build that relationship with your customers. I think one of the most important things to do in building relationships with customers is to be able to listen well. You're always solving a need for somebody, right? So 67% of the reason that people would send flowers is recognition, number one. So what do they need to be recognized for? What's going on? A mistake they made or a happy thing, or they're wanting to draw business. So hey, I'm going to get this person's business. I'm going to send in some flowers to get their attention. What is it? So that type of relationship is vitally important. This may sound a little bit weird, but the relationship with your employees is vitally important too. I was way too much friends with my employees at the beginning, and it can sometimes make it difficult. So that was a type of relationship to develop and learn, right? And then the other thing would be when people were coming to me people don't buy flowers all the time, right? So they're getting married. I did do one lady's wedding 4 times, but most people get married once.
That's
right?
usually not a repeat customer.
Right. So when they come in, I know a ton about it, right? I'm doing it all the time, 4 or 5 weddings a weekend. They know not very much about it at all. And so I didn't want to bombard them with, oh, you can do this or this or this, or, and was learn to listen, which is challenging for me.
Yeah.
I'm very much, my nickname was Lippy growing up, still is. I have one of my social media accounts is Lippy still. Oh. So anyway, that was very important too. So when you're building relationships, I think it's important to listen. Very much listen.
And one thing, and I'd love for you to speak on this as well, is consistency, showing up every day.
Yep.
Because I see your industry is very similar to what I would say a restaurant. Mm-hmm. I mean, we all have favorite restaurants. Right. You go there 30 times and then all of a sudden it's bad.
Yeah.
It only takes one bad to undo 30 great experiences.
Well, I have my favorite restaurant here in town for Mexican food. Kids always wanted to go there for birthdays. I want to go there for birthdays, anniversaries. They sold after many years, 30 some years. And went in the first time after they sold and was chatting with the new owners, and I'm like, oh yeah, I knew so-and-so and so-and-so real well. We opened our business about the same time, blah, blah, blah. And they go, well, we're not making any changes. Jada sat down and ordered my favorite dish and went, this is not the same cheese. This is definitely not the same meat. And the seasoning's different. It's different. Mm-hmm. Thought, okay, it could be a one-off. Went another time, same type of thing. So the third time I went, I had a client that's where they wanted to go. So we go there and owner comes up and says, I haven't seen you here that much. And I know when I was working here for the year before I bought it, you said, can you tell me why? I go, yeah, I'll be real honest. I go, everything changed. Like you're using a different cheese, you're using whatever. She goes, we went back. We went back to buying everything that the other owners used, which was a little more expensive because we learned. So you got to know your people, and relationships are important with that. She felt comfortable enough to ask me. I felt comfortable enough to tell her, and she listened.
That's and good on her, because a lot of times they don't.
Nope.
I think back, and my brain obviously always goes to marketing, but do you remember when Domino's Pizza came out and they were talking about, they were kind of doing their apology tour?
Yes.
Yeah. And then we're sorry and we'll give you a freebie. And okay, that it piqued my interest because the fat kid here loves pizza. I could eat pizza every day. And so I saw that and I'm like, okay, let's give Domino's a try. And I went back and it was terrible. Wait a minute. You can't go for serving death discs for 30 years, pouring some ketchup on cardboard and then go, hey, we're sorry, it's terrible. Try us now. Well, it's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same.
Different tomato, same result.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And that type of a thing. That's what we've talked about a lot in marketing. And when I interview you, we're going to go into this deeper, but it's the whole marketing bridge. I see people that hire an agency such as yourself, they invest in that. And then after 6 months, you're like, oh, this isn't really panning out. But the problem is their marketing bridge was never complete. The employees don't know what's going on. The expectations aren't being met all the way across. It's one thing to market yourself to get the phone calls and the leads. It's another thing to close.
Well, and managing expectations.
Right.
That's so
and setting
tough.
Them
that is so tough.
Front. They set you up for a great pizza and sent you cardboard with ketchup on it.
Yeah. So on that note, though, let's talk about when you've had those people, you have that lady who is out of her mind, upset with you.
Yeah.
How do you handle somebody who gets a bad experience with you? How would you turn that around?
By listening to what their needs are, listening to why they're upset, really finding out why they're upset. In my business, a lot of times it was just like, they're already mad at their husband. Right. And he waited way too long to send anything. And when he sent it, it didn't matter what was sent. She's pissed off.
Yeah.
And so she's going to take it out on me or whatever, or vice versa, whatever. It doesn't matter what the sex is. It's just how it happens. So it's getting to know, what exactly that problem is and to turn them into a good customer. First off, is I would let them get their whole spiel out, get it all out. What is it that's bothering you? Get it all out. And then it's like, what can I do to make you happy? I want to gain your business for the future. Help me learn what we did wrong or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'd do that type of thing. Now, sometimes there were times I did ask 3 different individuals. I can still picture them to this day where I escorted them to my front door and said, never come back.
Yeah.
Like, don't ever come back. I was small enough in business. I was, it wasn't like I was a Domino's chain or had something to adhere to, but it was like, you know what? You're just a mean, angry, nasty person.
Yeah.
So like, we're never going to get along
without it.
Yeah. And it's okay. It's just like now, in real estate where it's like, I'm not for everybody. And that's totally okay. There's 88,000 houses in Lincoln. I couldn't sell them all if I wanted to anyway. Gosh, I'd love to. But I mean,
give it
right,
a try.
Right? Yeah. And it's times like, even like a personal thing you're going through now with a family member where it's like, well, I could inject myself at this point, but still it's kind of like indecision making, you kind of learn and when you're going to get into things. So yeah, I mean, you got to do your best to gain the business, be consistent, which we just talked about. All those things are important.
Outstanding. Well, I think that was 5. That was, well, we're out of time, so that's however many takeaways.
Yeah.
So 5 takeaways. And that was sponsored by the Nebraska Farmers Network. Go check them out, people. It's NebraskaFarmersNetwork.com. They are doing so many cool things. They have an auction site, an equipment site. They have land. They will help you if you're looking to farm, if you're wanting to get the family farm, keep it, and help generate for future generations. They do an incredible job.
Podcast, YouTube, we had them on 3 weeks ago. Find them.
Yeah, go check them out.
To listen to.
Really cool. All right, this is the 402 Business Insider. Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish, talking with Gary Tharnish, and we'll be back right after this.
$99.3 KLIN.
And we're back on the 402 Business Insider. Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish, talking with Gary about his businesses and past experience. This segment is brought to us by the Lincoln Airport, James Arthur Vineyards, and Lincoln Coin and Bullion. And this segment, I do like this segment. It's Unexpected Impact. Unexpected impact is something that just went sideways in your business that you weren't seeing coming. Could be good, usually isn't.
Yeah.
I've never had a good impact before, but so let's talk back to your business ownership days. You ever had a big supply chain issue?
God,
you ever had a phone number that didn't work, or
so many?
I know what yours is.
This could be a 10-hour conversation.
It could.
We had stuff. Okay, Senator Exon, one of our senators in DC for years, passed away. We're doing all the funeral flowers and the funerals being held at the Capitol. So you can't really get in early. There's security, all this stuff involved, right? So send 3 vans out with all the work. One of the vans is out. They're about 10 blocks away, and somebody runs a red light and T-bones them. Now, fortunately, both drivers were okay, but the flowers weren't.
Oh,
just smashed, right? So it's like, oh, great, it's gonna be televised. It's a big deal, and you're like, so, I mean, you send 2 people out in cars with supplies and stuff, and they're on an intersection, slapping flowers out, finishing up, then they're redoing the thing and getting it there. Unexpected impact. You just do what you got to do. I would say the biggest challenge I had in business was in 2001. I bought the largest competitor in town, Terrell's Flower Shop. I won't go into what the dollar amount was, but it was very significant.
I'll bet.
In making this, we rented a 5,000-foot warehouse, turned it into a big design studio, a whole bunch involved with that, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, get that up and running. Everything had to happen on a certain day perfectly. We had to have an ISDN line from the main shop, which is now going to become more of a call center, but still have a front room, over to the design center. They take the orders by phone, orders pop out over here. We make them and we deliver them. Everything had to be set up just right. Right, unbeknownst to me, on April 1st, April Fool's. Oh, by the way, never do a merger that takes place April 1st.
Oh,
April Fool's Day. Just don't do that.
That's probably not good.
So anyway, so the phone thing was a great big thing. Unbeknownst to me, it was right when Alltel was buying LT&T, or was it Windstream buying Alltel? One of those two. Whatever happened in 2001, whoever's around here. I mean, it was a hateful thing in my mind for 15 years. Now it's just on the spam thing. But anyway, so we have a guy coming from Chicago with all the software to train everybody when it happens. He's like, did the ISDN line, phone company's like, yep, the ISDN line's hooked up, ready to go. ISDN line's not hooked up. Company's like, yeah, it's hooked up. It's hooked up. Yeah, no, it's not hooked up. It's not hooked up. They send somebody out. I can't figure out what's going on. It should have been hooked up. Finally get that. So we go 3 days without that. So people are running back and forth with orders. Complete nightmare, right? At a time when you're telling consumers all the big holidays are in April and May, Mother's Day, Easter, Secretary's Day, Palm Sunday, the whole ball of wax, right? Trust us, we're the new people, but we can't quite get your order taken even, so huge nightmare, right? We think we have that figured out, which is a good thing. And turns out to not be a bad thing. We start getting calls like, hey, my wife never got her flowers yesterday. Well, we're looking through like, we never got it. Yeah, I ordered it. And so on. So it was done electronically, so on and so forth. We find out 5 weeks later that across the street from us was an old meat packing plant on 6th and Van Dorn Street that had been closed by the IRS 3 years ago. In order for us to get a phone line, somebody went into that building and tapped off their line and brought it over to us, which you can't do because the IRS now still owns this building. So they tap it in and they got the link there, okay, but they never flipped whatever switch they needed downtown. So we found out by my birthday, May 28th, so 2 months in. I mean, I'm now losing it, right? Because the worst call was the call I got from a church where they're like, where's my father's casket spray? What casket? We left you a voicemail. We ordered it online. We got verification that you got it. I mean, it was a nightmare. I testified in front of the FCC for here. Stephanie Johans was on there at the time, the mayor's wife, who I knew. I walked through an entire crowd of hundreds of people because all of these people were complaining about their bills and everything. I walked right up to the front and I said, y'all are going to listen to me. And I just went through the thousands of dollars this cost me. So I had to sue them. I won, but I never did get the messages. The IRS owned them. They did not have to release them. What that's all about.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck are you going to, I mean, anyway.
I'm going to pay taxes.
That was a huge nightmare.
But
the bigger thing was I needed in my first year to do $1.4 million in sales of flowers, which is a lot.
Yeah.
Right? Think of a $25 arrangement, right? It's a lot in order to make everything work out great, pay all the bills, and me get a good salary. So from April 1st, when I bought it, we had the whole phone nightmare, which added to the problem. But by the time September 10th came around, we were already at 1.1 million. We would have been set great because we still didn't have Thanksgiving, Christmas, Valentine's Day.
Sure.
What happened September 11th, 2001?
Oh, yeah, gosh.
9/11. The following year, from September 1st, 9/11 to September 11th, 2001 to September 11th, 2002, we did a total of 425,000 in business.
Oh my!
So you can imagine the complete nightmare in it.
Yeah,
I now have this debt. I now use a lot of my retirement. It's just a mess, right?
Yeah.
So that was a huge pivot. I say in retrospect, I probably should have filed bankruptcy, but that just wasn't my nature. So I spent years paying everybody off, and it was a huge nightmare.
Yeah.
That's a big one for you.
Yeah. A lot of people say it is. Pride it's a big thing, especially with guys. I don't know why it's a guy thing, but you don't want to file bankruptcy. Nope. You don't want to admit.
Nope.
But there's several, and we should probably get an attorney in here at some point and just talk about bankruptcy.
Yep.
I know Barry Law is one of our sponsors. I don't know if they do bankruptcy. I'll have to check that out. But that would be an interesting conversation because I think I know 2 for sure, but there might be 3, but you can do reorganization. And you know what? It could be your pride's going to get a kick in the teeth one way or the other.
Yeah. And it did. And I didn't reach out when I needed to. That's why I talk a lot on this show with people saying, hey, you're not out in the ocean in a boat all by yourself.
Yeah.
Reach out to other business people, get in networking groups, be okay to talk about what your mistakes are you made. It helps everyone.
And that's something that I loved about when we had Tim Kirkpatrick on.
Yes.
And if you guys missed that show, that was probably one of my all-time favorite shows that we've done, which was amazing because I got him like on a Wednesday. Somebody canceled on us.
That's
like
right.
On a Wednesday or a Thursday. And he's like, yeah, I'll come in and talk. He's so cool. And he's like, yeah, I'll come in and talk. And just one gold nugget after another.
Yeah, he blew it out of the park.
So go and check that out. But he's one of those people. If you're in a financial hardship or your business is struggling, he's kind of the money guy.
He gets
he understands cash flow. He understands restructuring business, because you got to reach out to somebody. You got to get some help, and that would have been smart.
And that was just a tough time for everyone involved. That whole time frame of 2001 when it happened. I mean,
the world stopped.
Yeah,
I mean, it stopped.
Yeah, it did. It was a whole different thing, and I just merged with the largest flower shop in town.
Yeah, probably took on
crazy
hundreds of thousands of dollars
in employees.
In debt.
I went from 8 employees to 29.
Wow.
Which now I had to lay a whole lot off.
And did you now remind me, because you got property with that too? Didn't you buy a big chunk of land up on North Cotner?
No, that's one smart thing I did not do, because having worked there, I remember talking to Senior, to the original Terrell, who had said, oh my gosh, if they ever found out how much chemicals were dumped on this land. Well, they were a greenhouse to start off with in the late 1800s, right?
Oh my gosh.
So they are fertilizing.
Yeah.
They're doing everything that we can't use now. I mean, you think about all of that, right? I never bought that property because I was smart enough to talk to a lawyer that said, you're not going to grandfather on that property. The state wants to come in and test that soil. You could have a big problem. Didn't buy it, thank God, because when he went to sell it, the land, they did do the testing. I don't know how many hundreds of $1,000s they had to remove 12 feet of soil.
I kind of remember that.
And they had to dig this whole area out, which was, probably 4,000 square feet. Move that soil to an area of containment.
Oh,
right. Bury it. I mean,
talk about one of the very few times where buying property is a mistake.
Yes.
That would have been a mistake.
Right.
Oof.
You need to know the history of it in that case. And I happen to know it just because I had worked there.
Yeah.
And otherwise, I don't think I would have thought about it.
You'd own it.
Yep.
You'd own it.
Yep. And you're stuck with it.
Or they'd own you, one way or the other.
Yes. They would own you.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a nightmare. Well, that was unexpected impact. That was kind of a lot of unexpected impacts. I'm telling you, that was the bumper cars there, it's still open for sponsorship right now. So if business owners, if you're interested, we'd be pouring love all over your business right now. You're listening to the 402 Business Insider. Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish, talking about Burton Terrell's back when Gary used to own it, and 2 more segments to go. So we will be back right after this break.
99.3 KLIN.
And you're listening to the 402 Business Insider. Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish, talking with Gary about when he owned Burton Terrells. And this segment is brought to us by Integrated Behavioral Health Systems and the Lincoln Chamber of Commerce. Now, this is an absolute true story. When I met Shannon at a wedding. She was a bridesmaid at my best friend's wedding out in Colorado. Okay. I was flying for Texas Air back then. And she lived here and, of course, fell head over heels in love and wanted to send her flowers after this wedding when she came back. And so I don't know. Like back then, this is late 90s. This is phone books, right?
Yep,
internet was not.
The internet.
There, it was a thing, but it wasn't a thing for regular folks like us.
Well, if you wanted to sit through the dial-up and take 15 minutes for one screen to show up.
See, and we didn't even have that. I mean, I didn't even own a computer.
I love it.
And so I'm like, how do I find a flower shop? And called 411, which they are absolutely no help whatsoever because for you youngsters out there, you used to dial 411 and somebody would give you information. It was, if you were lucky, they'd give you a phone number. And so a buddy of mine goes, why don't you call the Chamber of Commerce and see if they have a connection? And so I called. I'm like, okay, back to 411. Give me the number to the Lincoln Chamber of Commerce, and called. And then the lady there, she goes, oh, it was Burton's Flowers.
Yep,
and I probably talked to you.
You probably did.
I don't know.
Or who knows? But anyway, that's funny.
And so I'm like, oh, yeah, hey, I want to order flowers for this girl. And said, here's what I'm trying to do. And this is absolutely true. So, of course, now when I was flying for Texas Air, I was either working for free to build time, or if I had moved over into the left seat, I was making $8,000 a year. That ain't a lot of money back then.
Right.
And so I go, yeah, I found this girl. She's beautiful, all these things. And I want to really impress her. And they go, yep. I go, I know she likes tropical flowers. And that was all I knew. And so we put this order together. We're going to do this and we're going to do that. And we'll put these in there. And it might as well have been speaking French to me because I don't know anything about flowers.
Yeah.
And so they go, okay, well, we'll charge your credit card. That'll be about $200 and some odd. Click. And I'm like, ooh, right? Because when you make $8,000 a year, it worked though, obviously, because I'm married to her. So. But yeah, I called the Lincoln Chamber of Commerce and they hooked me up with Burton's Flowers, and the rest, as they say, is history. So, but yeah, if as a business owner, you've got to join the chamber. It is well worth your money.
Definitely.
It's just a great group of guys. This segment is This Needs an Adjustment.
There you go.
Which is sponsored by Ascend Chiropractic.
Yep.
Thank you very much. I'm still trying to get my brain around this sometimes. There are times in business where things need adjusting.
Yep.
And I love the name of this segment because business is all about getting adjustment.
Right.
And sometimes it's big, sometimes it's small, sometimes it's several. And so tell us something about when you realized that I'm going in the wrong direction. I need to make a big adjustment. Something here's got to change.
Well, it was 1996. I've kind of mentioned this briefly before in some shows when we've talked, but I was a problem and didn't know it. Or wasn't perceiving it or seeing it. But we had gotten into this, like, it seemed like little mistakes were being made left and right all the time, and then big mistakes and just stuff that's really unnecessary. And it's like, what is going on here? We're going down this trend of, not producing what we needed to do and getting things done the way they should be done. It would brought about, consumer complaints and, just vendor complaints, everything, it just seemed like everything was kind of going sideways and wrong. At the time, I had hired this gal that owned a radio station here in town. Her and her husband owned a few radio stations and also in other areas. But anyway, I'd hired her because I fell in love with her. She's great. I was advertising on their station, which was wonderful. But I really hired her because she was wealthy. And wealthy people tend to sell according
they
to what
do.
they can buy. So it was really good for the business. But what I love most about it, we got along great. We were great friends with them outside of work and everything, which was a fine thing in this situation. She only worked part-time because she didn't really need to work. She loved to come in and have fun. So one day I'm like, this is it. Oh my God, I can't take this anymore. I got off the phone with somebody that was upset. They should be upset. And what happened never should have happened, because that's not how we've been doing things for 14 years at this point. What the heck? I go out in the design room. It's kind of the hub of the flower shop. And I'm like, all right, everybody listen up. Blah, 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 blah. This has to stop. And I don't normally get mad, but I'm really mad right now. And she comes marching. Anne Cavalieri, rest in peace. She's passed away. She's one of my favorite people in the whole world ever. Comes marching across the room right in front of everybody, just without stopping a beat of movement, grabs my ear and drags me into the office by my ear. She goes, sit down. I sit down and she goes, you're the problem. And she proceeded to just lay out truth after truth. And I was like, I am the problem. So I hired a coach, business coach, which at the time I was not a fan of at all. And I do think if you're going to hire a business coach, listens to Tim's show that we did on our podcast or on YouTube, our YouTube channel, 402 Business Insider, because that will give you good advice on how to do it. But anyway, I had met her at a networking thing. I kind of knew who it was. She came in, spent way more money than I wanted to for a year, and it completely changed our business. And so we needed an adjustment. The adjustment had to start with me. The buck stops at my desk. It also starts at my desk, right? So if you think about that, sometimes it's kind of like, oh, like you've said that in your business before. Like if there's a problem, you'll always take the heat.
Always.
But also every part of our culture starts with us, right? And I really hadn't set up a culture. That's really what it ended up being. So anyway, that was a time we really needed an adjustment, and the adjustment we made paid off just in a huge way.
And what are some of the things that you did?
We came up with a vision statement, a mission statement. We didn't really have those. We pulled in all advice from all of the employees instead of me just making a decision, thinking, oh, I'm all that. I know all this. I'm in these organizations, and I go to these conferences, and I am just doing that, not really asking employee input. I don't know. If you would have asked me at the time, like, do employees feel comfortable asking you about problems or things they think should be done differently? I'd be like, oh no, they don't ever have a problem talking to me. Oh heck yeah, they did. I didn't know that because I was blinded. Sometimes our perception of ourselves sometimes do not at all match outside perception of us. And that was what it was with my business. Our inside perception of ourselves, my inside perception of myself did not match what my customers thought. So we did that. Another big thing is she took out 12 of my clients from corporate all the way down to like a Travis Filing who would order for Shannon once in a while, out to dinner, and asked them what they thought our top 10 things were. Our number one thing we thought was service. It was number 9.
Oh,
so eye-opening.
Yeah. And I know we talked about that before in the show. You think you're good at something. It's not necessarily true. But one thing that you mentioned that I think is really interesting is a lot of business owners, they'll start getting into their own heads like, hey, I'm the captain of this ship. You just go below deck and keep rowing.
Yep.
And that never ends up good. Never.
Because
micromanaging is horrible, but at the same time, not managing at all.
Right.
Just assume that they're down below deck rowing while you're steering the ship. That can be really, really bad because your people are smart. They are the front line. They are connected with your customers. They are having conversations with them. A lot of times they're going to give you some pretty good feedback on what needs to change and some directions that your business needs to go. And you need to pay attention to it and listen to them. Doesn't mean they're always right. Doesn't mean their ideas are always good. But when you're managing people, they're part of your team and you need to treat them like part of your team. Yeah. So that's something that, is very insightful. Well, that was This Needs an Adjustment, sponsored by Ascend Chiropractic. When you need an adjustment, just go get to it before things get out of hand. Schedule an appointment with Ascend Chiropractic, NE.com. Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish, talking with Gary Tharnish about Burton Terrell's flowers, and we will be back for our last segment right after this.
1499.3 KLIN.
And we're back for the last segment of the 402 Insider. This segment is brought to us by the Barry Law Firm and Wyuka Cemetery. I actually want to get those guys in and chat with us because that's a lot more. There's a lot more to that than most people might think.
Yeah.
Got a short one because you and I, blah, 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 blah. We know how to talk, so we really put ourselves on the skinny branches here for this last segment.
We did, didn't we?
But let's talk about transitioning out of business and into real estate. What have you brought with you from 36 years of business ownership into selling real estate?
Well, 36 plus years of just knowledge. Number one, the importance of some very key factors. Do what you promise. If you say you're going to do something, do it. Find out what the client's needs are, not yours. Huge thing. Talk less, listen more. It's important who says it. Right?
Yeah.
Like if I say your walls need to be painted, that's one thing. If you tell me they need to be painted, I gotcha. They need to be painted, right?
Yes.
So knowing those things, having come from business, was a big help. I knew at that point in my life, I was like, I had always wanted to be a realtor. So that part I loved homes, loved going on the parade of homes and open houses, even if I wasn't hunting for, needing a house. I always loved that. So I knew I loved the industry. And I was just hungry for something new. When you do something so remember, I started when I was 17. So now I'm selling my business when I'm 58. I can't, David's great at math, our producer, he'll figure it out. But anyway, it's a lot of years, right? Of doing the same thing. When you do the same thing for so many years, it's kind of just like brushing your teeth. I don't have to tell myself, oh, you go up and down and back and forth. And, you just do it. And work had become like that. So now suddenly I'm like excited about, I'm going to this new industry. I was, a little scared. I'm not so much scared as apprehensive a little bit. Like, gosh, am I, there's a lot here. Am I going to be able to do it? Loved going back to school. That was a great thing. I enjoyed that. And just looked forward to helping people. I'd always done that my whole life anyway. So this was just a whole new thing. Was it scary? Yeah, I'd be lying if I didn't tell you there was some definite fear with it. Sure. Help somebody buy a $700,000 house. You don't want to mess that up, right? Like, oh, sorry, we screwed this up. But I had enough business knowledge behind me and everything too that I knew what I didn't want to do. What I didn't want to do was manage people. What I didn't want to do was a payroll. What I didn't want to do was HR. What I didn't want to do was marketing. Now, when I say that, I mean, I didn't want to work for a small brokerage where you have to do your own flyers. You have to do everything. So that's how I ended up choosing home real estate, because they can do all that for you. Now you pay for it. And what I love about these small brokerages is they go, well, you don't have to pay for all that when you come here. I go, who does your marketing? Oh, you can go over to this place or that place. Cha-ching. Who does your whatever? I'm like, cha-ching. I mean, nothing's free.
Right.
Anyway, so the transition was very smooth for me.
Very cool. Well, I think we're out of time here. So I know. Imagine that.
Flies.
Can you believe we've been talking an hour and a half? Well, you're listening to the 402 Business Insider. Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish. Thanks for being here. I mean, you're here every week. I always go, thanks for coming in, but thanks for coming in.
Thanks for interviewing me, Travis.
Otherwise, it had just been me and David just sitting here awkwardly staring at each other. So
that's funny.
Well, thanks so much for listening. This is the 402 Business Insider. If you guys want to be a guest, go to our website, 402insider.com. Fill out the form. We'd love to talk to you.
Yep.
We'll see you next week.